What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Chicago Corner. I'm Alexandra. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So this is part 2 of the documentary that we were watching last night by Brian Schodorf and Schodorf Media Creative, and it is called Chicago at the Crossroad. So let me share my screen real quick. All right. Cool. Okay, let's get back into it, shall we? All right, this is where we left off. So let's go.
If we leave here, where are we going to go?
The projects, by the way, well, housing projects that see the Chicago Housing Authority and the federal government and a bunch of different parties realized that, they failed. Well, they, of course, don't say that they failed, but there were a lot of failures, and I wouldn't put that on the residents. Okay. Just a little side note for you. Oh, boy.
We leave here, where are we going to live?
There were 30,000 families living in public housing. Where were people going to go? Was there going to be a revolt? Could this be pulled off?
My primary concern is where's the next generation going to live? You think they're thinking about the American dream? What is the American dream these days?
Good question.
The infamous era of high-rise public housing in Chicago and most of the country was over. A testament to public policy gone wrong, a failure on all levels of government. The design was flawed, the vision was short-sighted, the empathy was lost. But the root motivation of these massive warehouses for the poor was much more sinister.
When there were too many black people, they said, what are we going to do? Well, let's build these high rises, but we can't put them in the white areas. Let's rip down houses in the black community and house people within those neighborhoods. And all of those projects, with the exception of Cabrini, were built in all black neighborhoods. Yep. And Cabrini then became an all black neighborhood.
The reason that high-rise public housing was built in Chicago was an attempt by the city government to constrain the black population of the city in the smallest geographic area.
This is something that's done in cities all over the place, but
that's how
it's just very pronounced in Chicago.
It was too late. Those buildings were destined to go.
I remember when I was seriously, when I was younger, driving past one, they had that big sign up of the, the company that was doing the demolition. Yeah, these people are cheering, but probably thinking that they'll have somewhere to go. Years.
It's now been 2 decades since the first brick fell from the mortar of Chicago public housing. What followed was known as the Plan for Transformation.
Now we find ourselves in the 21st century. There's a whole lot of people in the United States who need stable housing that's affordable. Even the city of Chicago's estimates is that there's a lack of about 120,000 units of affordable housing.
Now you have taken away the housing, but you don't have anything to replace it. Instead, you have condominiums that are costing $1,800 for 1 bedroom, $2,000 for 2 bedrooms.
There are some neighborhoods in Chicago that are becoming unaffordable because rents are too high, but there are some neighborhoods in Chicago that are unaffordable because people don't make enough money. Communities that are poor, people that are poor, are getting pushed into a smaller and smaller box as gentrification takes up more and more space. And we sort of gave up on conventional public housing. We decided that a whole lot of public purposes should be privatized, infusing it with incentivizing the profit motive. In the public housing realm, we decided to turn it over to private developers. So the Section 8 programs came into existence. Tenants have vouchers where they can take those vouchers and have the rental assistants follow them to whatever landlord in whatever building they live in, which is an experiment.
The buildings are all gone. Only a memory transfixed in the minds of the former tenants, as if you could still feel the rubble drifting in the wind. What was promised was new mixed-income communities. Though only a fraction of former public housing residents were actually allowed to move back into the new communities. Most were never built, leaving vast expanses of land just vacant.
A lot of places have not even started construction yet. They still have been empty for more than a decade. That was a centerpiece of the plan for transformation. Overall, where did people go? That's the big question.
Life has a way of just moving on. But for some former residents, it feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
I think about snowball
really
stands on the
quick.
corner.
So Chicago's plan for transformation, I had to refresh my memory. It was Richard M. Daley and the Chicago Housing Authority did an aggressive overhaul of Chicago's public housing. It was called the Plan for Transformation, and it demolished 17,000 units. That's a lot of people. So actually, let's look at this real quick. Okay, so let me actually share this with you guys real quick. Maybe, possibly. One sec. 1 second. Yeah, so it was a failure, I mean, in many respects. And like some people, defend it saying, oh, it was a good idea. But like, they didn't even address really why it failed other than just blaming it on somebody. So, okay. Let me see here real quick. Yeah. So let's see, this is some study that was done. The goal of the plan for transformation was to convert distressed public housing into healthy communities. Blah, blah. The challenges the CHA faced in attempting to transform its public housing were immense. Let's see, I hope things. See, now, study research was supported with a grant from the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation. I won't get started on that this evening, but there's a lot of connections there that you all would find interesting. So let's look here. I kind of want to just go to like the meat of it. By 2009, all the original respondents had been out of Madden Wells. So that's okay. That was one of the housing projects. For 8 years, the majority of former residents were using vouchers to rent a unit in the private market. So you see what they did, right? Like nearly a third were living in public housing, and the rest were no longer receiving housing assistance. Let's see, mostly in Oakwood Shores, which is more than 3/4 of Madden Wells respondents now say that their housing is in excellent or good condition, and in sharp contrast to 2005, no public housing residents rate their housing as poor. Madden Wells families live in considerably lower crime neighborhoods where they no longer constantly fear for their own. Let's see, significant challenges. Yeah, they always put this back here. CHA residents, shockingly poor health and persistently low employment. Well, I thought that it was, let's see. Chicago is I'll say this, Chicago is a great little, and I'm using great, not in the traditional sense, being a bit facetious here. It's a great like testing pool for people's different experiments. I'll get into that in time too, but I just kind of wanted to look at real quick, just a study. Let's see, let's go back to that now. So yeah, I hope you guys are finding this interesting. I've gotten good feedback, so I'm glad you guys like it.
I think about basketball tournaments. I think
Just like
about
talking about
fun
home.
days. And no matter where I went in the world for however long, I could come back home.
Home's still home, man.
It's heartbreaking. A lot of
That
us
shit
are
is still
running
vacant.
around lost trying to figure out who we are and where we come from, because we can't take our kids and be like, that's where you come from. The building I was brought to from the hospital is the one over there on the other side of the park. Like, you can see it. Can you see it? Playground, and still this little area right here. And you come up on the tree. Okay, I guess it's like in my DNA to flock back. I'm not trying to downplay the violence. It was very violent. Some people came out shell-shocked. PTSD and all of that. This was a war zone. But at the same time, it was a paradise.
And
I ride past here often. I say to myself,
people are treated
man,
like absolute shit in some of these cities,
I know a lot of
including
people
Chicago.
that were just put out. We don't care. You need
You
to
guys
go
wonder why
buy.
sometimes I'm just completely
If someone
anti-government.
can just come in and snatch your whole world and livelihood from you,
That's what they do.
then what are you, you know? I'm Lintessa Williams, former resident of the Harold Ickey Homes.
The Ickeys.
Public housing had become so problematic in Chicago that many people just wanted it to go away. And in fact, that's what's happened.
But what happened is that the buildings came down at a much faster pace than anything that was being rebuilt.
Of course, 'cause
what
they
we
have
have found is
contracts
that
with these
most
companies,
displaced
no.
public housing residents have lived on a Section 8 voucher.
A Section 8 voucher says you, the tenant, can go find an apartment in a private housing market, and we, the federal government, will help pay your rent.
And those vouchers have placed them in racially and economically segregated communities on the South and West sides.
It meant you're going to a community that will accept your $800 a month voucher. That's what it meant. Now, no one said that.
A lot of people don't get it unless it's broken down. But what you've done is you've recreated the concentration of poor people in particular buildings and sometimes whole blocks.
There was a cleansing happening. It was called internal displacement from one impoverished neighborhood to another one. It was a plan for resegregation. If you look at where people ended up.
Almost all the residents were forced into 9 or 10 communities. The communities were under siege at that point.
I mean, imagine that just... I can't even. And again, it's not like I'm trying to exploit this shit. It's just...
These young guys, right?
It's fucking empathy, man. People... These are my fellow Chicagoans, like...
His father in jail. His grandfather in jail.
Because of fucking police.
His mother on the street. He the oldest. He got a sister 13 years old. He got a little brother 8 years old. Now he a man. He just got out of 8th grade 2 years ago. So he got to take care of his family. The choices are very limited.
The drug trade is probably one of the largest employers on the West Side.
Hell yeah, it is.
I did that calculation of number of people who've been arrested.
You can drive down Madison, like, I'm serious, people, I've done it before, people, there's just dudes out there, like, just like handing out freebies.
My life, that's the best thing.
That's how they get you.
I can get away from it.
Is it any surprise that open-air drug markets are such a large employer? No.
And the cops don't
Much
stop
of it
it.
hasn't been
I wonder why.
rebuilt since the riots in
They stop
1968
everything
when
else.
Martin Luther King was killed.
They're just wastelands. We from the gutterest parts
The people that live there
the most impoverished
shouldn't be
parts of the
subject to
city.
this
So
shit.
you can't put that on
They're
no job resume. You
same
can't
as all
say,
of
oh
us.
yeah, I trapped the block.
Most people that
for
live
10
there,
years and this is why you should hire me. The only thing
and
that's
the
left
city does
to do
nothing.
is to hustle, sell a drug, sell a bag.
The aldermen do not invest in this, like, they don't advocate for their communities. It's just
and
bullshit.
It's settled not with writs and subpoenas, it's settled with guns. I think the murders in Chicago are mostly due to the drug trades in Chicago.
Somewhat. Some of it now is just honestly like over
Just came
anything.
from a
Like,
funeral,
it's
man,
like with younger kids though.
Wasn't good.
There wasn't nothing good about it at all. It's like I'm almost immune to it a little bit, but then it make you think about like how your funeral gonna be, what's gonna happen when you die.
I'm going to show you guys some
Realities on
videos
these
later that
blocks
show
can be
this
all
more.
too harsh for the young men and boys who congregate on the corners and stoops of two flats and old brownstones, left with few options in a seemingly hopeless existence.
Well, it's not to say people can't make choices, you know, but when this is what you grow up around, I don't know. I'm not sure what I would do. I can understand, I can empathize.
You have to take the time to
you gotta do what you gotta
really
do.
Find a community that will accept you as a Section 8 recipient with a voucher. I ended up down here at Garfield Park. A lot of times you end up in a community like this. You're going to see drug dealings every day. You're going to hear shootings. It's not like you're living in Beverly Hills, you know. At the same time, what can we do?
I mean, the architecture in a lot of these places is like beautiful.
2 girls. My oldest son, his name is Edwin Dorsey.
So that's off the Green Line in Chicago. It goes out to Harlem and Oak Park, and then goes to Inglewood.
You know, everybody, all these murders happen. Everybody down, you know. So it's a lot of killings around here. So it's really a crazy neighborhood. Kids getting shot every day, so you get accustomed to it, you know. Any altercation
4,172 people shot in 2020.
From some little, then escalate to
700
so big,
something
and then
killed.
all kids thinking their mind is go get a gun, you know.
No, I hate how people like just also sometimes group everybody that lives in a certain neighborhood together. Like there's just most of us are just everyday people trying to make it work, and then you're just, depending on your zip code, faced with more roadblocks because of the systems in place.
One of the things about these guys that I found very unique is that
the Firehouse. I want to get them on the show
they try
for
to create
sure.
amongst themselves. They got 1 or 2 houses that they can take all the guys in, and they kind of all chip in together, where they all kind of put their money together. They're like, we're all that we have.
Absolutely, I worry. I mean, it's a chance that they take every time they go outside. We living in a really bad environment where we just need to really change our ways.
Some kids may turn to the streets, you know, try to hustle. Yeah, the money fast, but it's always going to find a way to catch up with you. You don't know that your enemy right around the corner watching you from the whole situation. You don't know that the police watching too. It's always different circumstances, you know, so keep your head up. Always just second think everything. You got to watch your back every day. It's the most dangerous job in America.
Like you truly I feel like start to live like you're always
Does
looking behind
anybody
your
ever
shoulder.
sit down and ask them, like, what do you want to
PTSD.
do? I'm pretty sure selling drugs is not going to be the first thing out of their mouth. They're just getting money with that. That's not their passion. Somebody's got to be there to say, hey, you can do this. Let me show you this over here. And then you got to want to do it. You got to want to do it.
He has a lot of potential in a job or something opposed to just selling drugs out here and just being caught up in, in this vicious, nasty world that we're living in.
They love money too much and don't know how to let it come to him instead of him gotta go and get it all the time. He think I'm always trying to be his mama when really I'm just being his girlfriend. He don't want to listen. Each time I tell him, he get in trouble right after I had to tell him.
I feel that. I
got a
used to
son.
like Bad Boys.
I just want to provide from him, so it was just always hard.
I used to
Just
love
getting
Bad
your mind
Boys,
focused.
honestly.
Got to keep your mind straight and what you want to do in life. If you think you could do it, you probably could do it.
Is it tough to live in the city right now?
Yeah, it is. It's tough. And when Ken get older, I'm trying to move out before he get 5. Move out of Chicago, out of Illinois, period.
A lot of people who want to leave
Too many
Chicago.
people getting taken out this world for no reason. Nowhere to raise my son at.
No offense to the people that were just shot in these
You
mass
just
shootings, but there's mass shootings
Wake
every
up
fucking
to
day in this
hearing
city.
your best friend getting shot on the news, you know. You don't want to wake up to that every day.
Have you had friends get killed?
Yeah, one of my friends, yeah, recent, just about a month ago. Yeah. Some people get away with some things. Some people go to jail. For every action is reaction. So it's consequences to everything. So you never know. Never really know.
I respect him so much more than a stupid ass politician.
Edwin is at a critical age, no longer in school,
all this shit for
and left
people,
with few options to provide for his
for
young
all
family.
of us.
The days can be long in these Chicago streets. Edwin has reached his crossroad. Which way will he go?
I've seen a variety of reasons as to why some kids turn to the streets to sell drugs. It can be as simple as feeding themselves. When you're 14, 15 years old, it's hard to get a job. So this tends to be the fastest,
there's no businesses
easiest way
in
to
your
get
neighborhood.
money. A lot of times it's the younger guys who are the ones selling the drugs on the street because the consequences are lower for juveniles.
It's almost nothing these days for juveniles in Chicago.
We call these, I guess, in the
I don't know,
world, the collateral
that's a whole other
consequences of
issue,
felony
honestly.
conviction.
A lot of the time, these kids are just kind of
It's
used.
really hard to see one of my 17-year-olds get arrested as a young 18-year-old and seeing how their lives have changed and how great the consequences can be for adult cases. I met Edwin about a year ago in custody at the Juvenile Temporary Detention Center. He was really at risk the whole time of being
Now again, I'm not saying like
Department
support
of
police and all that. This
Justice.
just
We
is
always
what it
try to
is.
prevent
And we're looking
incarceration.
at it
Unfortunately,
objectively.
didn't work out. The judge in Edwin's situation was unwilling to give him that third or fourth chance, basically.
Edwin was charged with possession with the intent to distribute narcotics and sentenced to 6 months in a juvenile detention center.
That'll fix the problem.
He now faces an all too common reality. As a black man in America, there's nearly an 80% chance that he will return to prison within 5 years after being involved in the federal justice system.
Feels good to be back. You happy to be out? Running these streets.
Feel great, you know. Waiting a little long time, but it's finally here.
Fuck, man. It's just sad, dude.
You see the baby?
Yeah, happy
I
to
just
see the
know,
sun,
like,
man.
I just
ain't seen
sometimes
him
it
in a
just feels
minute.
like no one that lives like north of shit, Lake Street in the city cares. Not that I can save this guy. Nobody can save this problem, or you know what I mean. But it's just like I hate how segregated the city is. And all the fucking problems that it has.
Daddy miss you. You wanna go to the store?
And
He's
people
an
are
adult now, so
you're
gotta carry and
exploiting
conduct
black people. No,
himself
I'm not. I'm
as
just
an
fucking
adult.
being a person
I
talking
mean, he
about
gotta
other
be a
people.
role model to his son at the end of the day. I can't be. My son was guilty of the crimes that he committed. He did his time. I won't judge him. That's part of the past. I strongly believe you gotta stand behind your children. Just don't turn your back on them, before it's too late. Unfortunately, these younger guys are the ones that are losing their lives. I just want him to take the time, become a father the way that he's supposed to be towards his son, and just become a respectful man in society.
I seen that happen many times. Somebody just come home out of jail, been gone for a couple months or so, come out. It's the circumstances they still in, they still around the same place with the bad negativity, so kind of drags them back into it,
People, places, and things. Is what
They don't got that
say.
many opportunities. They got felonies on their background, so trying to do something productive, but end up, going back towards down the wrong road. You ain't gonna achieve what you want to achieve by tomorrow. There's always gonna be distractions. So you just gotta be focused on everything you wanna do. You got a dream, just chase it. Your life doesn't end there.
You need that support system, man. You really do. People really need that. I think that we take it for granted sometimes.
We're working
we're
with
fortunate enough to have
guys
it.
age 17 to 25, guys who've been on the street, dropped out of high school, maybe didn't even finish 8th grade, the ones who have records, the ones who nobody wanted. Every other program kicked them out. These are the ones that we're going after because these are the ones that are causing the most ruckus.
Our objective is high school diploma, no new cases, clean drops, a marketable skill. In other words, a new identity. They didn't come to us with 5 minutes worth of trauma. They come to us with 18, 21, 25 years worth of trauma. And they've navigated that trauma the best way they could figure out. So our desire is to say, yo, you count. We see you. You're significant.
We really
So I think a lot of these guys, even though they act real hard, like,
and we
as
want
they,
to be able
I mean,
to
how
have
could you
them
not
get
be hardened?
plugged in with a life
They
coach
need love too,
and kind of
man.
start
Shit.
to work on doing something different with their life.
I tell them when we first talk to them, you suck as a criminal. You suck as a criminal. Let me just let you know now. That's why you're on parole or probation. So that's not perhaps maybe the design you're created to be. Maybe you're designed to start a business. Maybe you're supposed to run this firehouse.
It's not about bringing a kid to a program and being with them for a couple of hours and then sending them back out, but really walking life with them, being in their life to help transform their life.
The language of success, that is reparation meets opportunity, determination, and have a plan.
You can kind of have an approach of that these guys have had all these hard times in the past. What I've found is that the guys have an incredible hunger to get ahead. I've seen guys go through drug treatment programs and then get union jobs. I've seen guys get their high school diploma at an age when they thought that was completely beyond them and it was never going to happen for them. It's just an incredible experience when you get to be part of a guy doing something for themselves.
Well, I was thinking like, damn, I can't be doing the same thing to put me in the same position that I'm in already. Some had to give, some had to change.
I can't help to think about this quote right here, man. Go out and do something great with your day.
Came across this program and then that was looking bright for me.
We believe in you, man. That's what we want you to do. We want you to succeed in whatever you want to do, all right? Go out, man, and do something great with your day.
Just like to learn new things, trying to, just learning new things, learning new ways, and just applying them to the real world. It's a lot of stuff that people out here need, such as job training, getting my education through the programs, helps you deal with emotional stress, therapy. Very much thankful. It's a blessing, you know. Decent blessing, yeah. Can't complain.
You know, the guys say to us, you guys are the only men who are with us who don't want nothing from us. Nobody believes that anybody gives a fuck about them. So I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Because I walked right by you and you knew I needed some help and you didn't do anything. You saw a situation and you didn't come through. The community is tired. I mean, we got elders who say, I stay in my house in the summertime. I am not coming outside because guys are shooting up and down the block.
That's truly how it is.
AK-47s.
The richest country in the world.
So I'm not coming outside.
It's been like this for so long.
We believe in journeying with you. We're going to journey with you. We'll love you until you can love yourself. You now begin to wear down what was done in the village to you, with the school, with the teacher, with the family, with the police.
Too.
There's a small number of guys who are actually keeping up the drama, is actually keeping up the violence. And if we can tap into those guys and show them other options and really help them, that's going to begin to turn the relationship and begin to change the dynamics of how this young man thinks and how he views life.
If you got up and went to the lakefront and watched the sun come up, now the day is yours. That's rare. You're a different dude.
I'm gonna stay focused because I know what I want to do. If you make a wrong decision, it's gonna be a consequence to that action. So I learned that younger. I'm 19, but I learned that at a young age. I learned that at 16, 17. Every action is a reaction, so it's up to you to do it the right thing.
The Golden Dome in Garfield Park. It's a cool spot. Yeah.
I was really supposed to graduate last year, but I made it this year. As long as I get that diploma, and it's something that nobody can never take away from me. So happy that I'm getting it. For the homies who died, I know they watching down on me, knowing I'm doing the right thing, and happy for me. But I mean, homies in jail, I know that they could, hopefully they get a chance, get an opportunity like I got, and get their life on track.
I'm not trying to
works
cry
out for the
here.
best.
I just can't imagine losing that many friends so young.
This drug dealing life, the consequences will be either you end up in jail or you'll be dead. And it's sad because these are young kids that are dying. But then again, I'm thankful because you gotta go through something in order to come out. And my son has went through a whole lot. And
these people come from more shit than I ever have, by the way. I'm not claiming I can understand exactly, but I can fucking empathize. Because again, all I'm ever trying to say is we're all human.
Graduation is going to be alphabetical order. So folks going to be in alphabetical order. So it's a whole group of everybody else from other cohorts all together.
Graduation. So successful at that moment, being able to get my mama something that a lot of my family members didn't have. Very proud of myself. Very proud.
It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Chicago Red second graduation. Make some noise.
And so for all the challenges we face, for all the pain we sometimes feel, I am wildly optimistic about where our city is going to go. The only thing I'm going to ask is you reach back and bring 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 with you. If we do that, the numbers of this start to turn the city in a very different way in a short amount of time. So congratulations.
Some will be like, oh, he's a white skin, but just let's enjoy it for what it is.
I come from poverty, but the road is brighter, so I know I got some potential to do a lot of good things now.
Hell yeah, you do.
And I would just add that potential's always been there. Just having a chance to sort of rise to the surface. And he's not a different person. He has a good heart. All of our guys have good hearts. They just maybe haven't had the chances, the opportunities to support, and honestly, the love. And there's a lot of love in a room like this, and people who believe deeply in what he can accomplish, not just today, but for the next 10 years for the West Side, but also for the city. All right, so proud, so proud. Great job. How you feel? You straight? Good.
Edwin Dorsey.
Imagine, saying you don't even know if you're gonna make it to 18.
I've always told them the sky is the limit. You just gotta have the willingness, the effort, and the faith, and believe in yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do it.
There's such a lack of
and
love.
Hopefully, this is just the beginning to a great future.
It's rooms like this that have led the way in reducing Chicago's spiraling murder rate in recent years.
Well, then
with
COVID
investment
happened.
into the communities that need it most by leaders within these communities. But more needs to be done to combat Chicago's stark poverty and violence epidemic.
Yeah.
Edwin's story embodies the struggle for so many young Black men in Chicago and cities across America today, at the crossroad of success and failure, life and death. It's a city that rose from the ashes to become a global city, once called the city of the century, the city of broad shoulders. So why not here? Why not now? To mobilize a sustainable and equitable city for all, perhaps serving as a model for others to follow.
Only Lori Lightfoot would execute that.
But the biggest questions still remain. Where will people live? Where will they work? And what kind of city will future generations inherit? Because Chicago's story is the American story, written by those searching for a better way of life, and understanding how we got here may be the only path forward.
Hell yeah, it really is. Damn. Hope you guys liked that as much as I did. Let me, I want to show you guys something else before we go. I want to show you, there's a creator, his name's Charlie Bell. I would love to bring him on the show. I think I've talked about him before, but Oh, and I want to bring this guy on too, actually, Victor Maggio of Maggio News. He's got like crazy footage of pretty brutal stuff, but really interesting content. But anyway, I want to show you guys a video or two from another creator. I'll put him in the description. His name's he goes by CharlieBo313 on YouTube, and essentially he just drives around different neighborhoods, different cities of across America, but he just talks to people that live in poor areas, just neighborhoods. He just gets on the streets. He's just a real, like, he's what I would call, you know, like a real, like, on the ground journalist. He just films. I mean, but he goes some places that are pretty heavily entrenched in like gang wars, and definitely not where you would feel the safest. But the cool thing is that he just talks to people in these neighborhoods. A lot of times, you know, it makes me feel like if, you know, more people see that, like, okay, maybe I'll give, you know, this neighborhood a second chance. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that, you know, for me and my experience in Chicago, like I've got friends from all over the city just because of like in college I met all kinds of people just, you know, living here the last 13, 14 years. I've done that. Well, that's just me, but I have plenty of people, you know, and it's nothing against them. They don't know where some neighborhoods are. They don't know what's going on. It's not that they don't care. They're just not, it doesn't concern them. And again, I can't fault them for it, but like, how many times can you drive, you know, out to the suburbs and pass, you know, certain neighborhoods on the way and not even like give it a second thought? Like, hey, why is it that, you know, over here, all the buildings got like bullet holes in the windows and like, you know, there's a bunch of X's because they're all condemned. Why is that? It's so if I can, you know, make people think a little more, I'm doing my job. That's all I'm really trying to do. I'm not trying to be some savior. I'm just trying to connect people because we're all human, and you know, people can relate to this stuff in many different ways. But anyway, back to my point, which was that I'm going to show you guys a couple of videos because I want you to see what it's like in some neighborhoods of Chicago. And again, I'm not trying to exploit anyone that lives here because we're all Chicagoans. I'm trying to show you the systemic failures of the institutions that have been set in place to supposedly take care of people. But frankly, depending on where you live in this city, and I also go for any city, depending on where you live, that defines what services you get. You know, your alderman might have a bunch of platitudes, but they might not be doing a damn thing for your community. Or, you know, I'll talk about this more later, and I know Kit and Daniel have talked about TIF money extensively, tax and increment financing. Long story short, it pays governments to have blighted areas, like, because we have money. I mean, the state and city are broke, but we have money, and it continuously goes to the same places. And that was more, you know, like under Daley and Emmanuel. Now Mayor Lightfoot, she's trying, and I gave her a chance. I really did, like, to distribute resources more equitably, but they're still going to like a lot of these like private public partnership things that like really only benefit a small minority of people. It's the same kind of politics. And, you know, frankly, I think giving people in this entire city their agency back and like let their communities, like let all communities, doesn't matter what color skin is, just like have a little more agency over what happens in their own communities, like decide, like they get to decide what happens in their communities, not you know, one person at the top. Because Mayor Lightfoot's actively trying to suppress the power, the dwindling power that aldermen do have, which she said that she would do from day one, because they want to continue to concentrate the power to kind of keep it in, you know, a very few number of people's hands. I'm getting off topic again, but my point is that a lot of these neighborhoods have been like this for decades, like since the 60s riots. Now let's go, like, you know, just rewind to this past summer when downtown, think what you will of it, you know, it wasn't great. I mean, the property, whatever. My point is, things were fixed very quickly downtown. Why are some neighborhoods, the West Side, where it's predominantly African American, why are they still Like, why has nothing like developed, you know, in 40 years? And then they got hit again, of course, over the summer. And it's you know, I don't want to make this partisan because Republicans, Democrats are all the same, but I want to show you the failure of what machine politics is, which is typically like machine Democrat politics, has done to the city. So let me put this up. And again, the title is a little bombastic, but so this is, I believe, like the Austin neighborhood in Chicago. Let me see here. Okay, let me just pull this up real quick. Again, I hope you guys find this stuff interesting. This is what I want to talk about a lot too. And it's not, again, like I don't want to just be like, look at these people. It's more just like, this is the shit I like talking about. I like, you know, there's an emotional aspect to all this stuff too, and like a human side that is rarely talked about, especially these days. Okay, but yeah, this really is one of the most violent neighborhoods in Chicago, and it's not a slight at the most people that live there, average people who kind of just want to go to work and like live their lives, like be with their families, and they are subjected to a lot of bullshit because the city government doesn't address one of the root causes, which is the open air drug trade market on the west side, and just again not investing any resources or like providing any incentives for people to want to open businesses here. The city zoning laws also make it really hard to do that. Again, it's a lot of just government over regulation or very privileged regulation. Like you have to be able to pay in this city to really have a fighting chance. And when I say pay, I mean pay. But yeah, this guy just drives around and he just gets like legit real life footage. So shout out to Charlie Boat 313. Definitely follow him, and I'll put his info in the description. I believe this is. I guess maybe after I can show you guys a neighborhood like more on the north side, so you can kind of see the comparison. This is again just focusing on the systemic failures of institutions that are supposedly in place to take care of all people in a city, not just some. And it's you know, majority African Americans in Chicago, some Hispanic for sure. But that's you know, most of it's by design, as you saw in the documentary, like why people are where they are. And there's plenty of neighborhoods that are mixed too. It's not like it's that, you know, but it's also very segregated, and a lot of it's just as well, as you guys already know how this goes. Okay, I guess we're at a gas station. Let's see. I mean, does that not look like it's from like the 60s? We paid so much money in taxes. And I love this. This kills me. The fucking election signs. And the architecture is so pretty in here. Like, why isn't the city picking up anything? Like, it's so blatantly obvious. Boarded up windows, wood, because honestly, half of it's because glass has been broken from gunshots. It's a fucking war zone. And most people that live here are just held hostage to it because of the few. And the whole neighborhood, you know, gets stigmatized. And it's like, shit, they're just people too. That's ballsy to go down those alleys, just saying. Like, even if you look at the comments, and like, I was just sending this to a couple of my friends, they were like, dude. And again, it's not like gangs are really shooting at like normal people. It's not that. It's more like you're just caught in a crossfire. I have some cool guests that I'm going to be bringing on in the coming weeks too. Hopefully I can bring them on Slow News Day also, but I'm going to be doing both channels, so I'm excited about that. But I'll stop talking. All right. See, like, the eyes in the sky right there. It's just like, I mean, downtown Chicago was cleaned up in like 2 days. But we can't clean up shit that's been going on for decades. And by we, I mean city services. Then really all you have is gas stations, liquor stores, pawn shops, because those are the only businesses that get permits to really open / have any incentive to open. Look at this, like just vacant lots. And this is on Roosevelt Road. This is going from like Austin, from all the way in the west side. And it's Austin's like next to Oak Park, which is a very wealthy suburb that's right next to Chicago. And then you have Austin. Look at this shit. Churches, which a lot of these are churches. We'll get into that later. Okay, so yeah, this is Roosevelt Road and Central Park. Yeah, this is Austin. There's empty lots. There's some like random, like, dead apartments. Section 8, welcome. Only in certain neighborhoods, remember? Only in certain neighborhoods. I thought it said Obama. The title's so dramatic, but it really is violent. Mostly, again, just because of that drug trade over there and just gang spats. Because it's not even like the days of like Larry Hoover and David Barksdale with the GDs. Honestly, that's become quite decentralized. It's just smaller factions fighting over everything from like tweets and shit posts to just petty misunderstandings. Like that's how little life is valued for some of these guys. Look at that boarded up windows, just like a lot of these are slumlords. They don't give a shit about the building, especially the Section 8. All right, so I'm going to show you guys one more. Let's see. You see, he goes all over the place. And it's cool because he just talks to people. He mixes captions like, you want to click on them, but let me see where it is. Bear with me, guys. One sec. Oh, Black, that's dangerous as hell. There's a lot of rappers that come out of there that have been killed. And that's a whole other thing too, like drill rap culture in the city. That's another reason why there's so much violence now. And it's like petty spats all for over like lyrics like FGB Duck, like when he was shot dead on Oak Street in Chicago. That's like on the Magnificent Mile. It's one of the richest areas. Like that was wild. And almost nobody talked about it unless they were like in that community. I don't know where that video is. Where is it? Give me one sec, guys. Because I wanted to watch. There was an interview that I really liked. These guys. Oh, yeah.
That owns one of the popular stores in Chicago, Fat Tiger. He a black owner of a business, and his property.
left, and we're gonna ask everybody
So
what's their name.
Y'all want to say y'all name?
Yeah, if y'all want to say your name, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you say, that's your name, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, I'm gonna start over here with you, my man. We'll say that again? Okay, what about you? What about Okay, you.
I would love to just see this in like literally every neighborhood in Chicago. Just talk to people.
Fuck out of here, man. I'm gonna speak. They're in West Side Chicago, Austin area, man. Y'all know how we come.
For sure. Tight, son.
Okay. What you would get over here? Izzy, okay. And you?
Yep, I'm Key1. You can find me on IG,
I like that.
_Westside Key.
Oh, he getting right to it. All right.
Oh, shit, I'm just,
Okay. All right. So first of all, I want to ask y'all. Okay, we on the west side of Chicago. What's this specific neighborhood name again?
Just like Belmont.
Craig.
Yeah.
That's Lower like Belmont, Craig. Lower Belmont.
Okay, so what's it been like? What is this neighborhood like, and what has it been like over here lately? Like any specific incidents?
I'm not more from over here. I just moved over here to get away from Austin. Yeah.
Austin's what we just looked at.
A block away. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So it's busting over there. You know what I'm saying? Right. A motherfucker. So I just got away, came over here. You know what I'm saying? Moved my family.
I'm gonna hit that guy up on
over here
Instagram.
it's pretty cool. You feel me? But once you cross that motherfucking viaduct, you know what I'm saying?
It's a wrap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff been going on like in the news lately. And first of all, y'all know you was telling me about y'all had a recent like a discussion about a subject that's been all over the place.
Maybe a few months ago, I think this
involving
was
the police and young African Americans. First of all, you ever had any specific experience yourself dealing with that? Did you mention?
I got a lot. Shit, I can name my first experience with police officers. For one, I'm not gonna say it's like a black people versus police thing. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, all police are not. You know what I'm saying?
They just like everybody else. It's like it's good people with bad people. It's good cops, bad cops. You know.
But I've had experience with bad cops. You know what I'm saying? I think my first experience, I was like maybe 14. I was going to the store for my mom and shit, and they stopped me. They was like, "You fit the description." Like 5 police cars pulled up. Mind you, I'm a kid. I'm 14. I'm a kid. I got threw up on the car. They going all through my pockets and shit. You feel me? Then after they was done, they took my name down on some piece of fucking card. And they was like, "All right, now go." You know what I'm saying? Right. So if you a black kid coming up in the community, you gonna have a disdain for police officers going through that shit, even though it's good and bad cops. That shit leave a bad taste in your mouth.
But one thing I think everybody got to remember though is like that actually happened to me too. I actually went to jail and spent the night in jail, and I didn't do that. So, but if you live in a rough neighborhood, that's probably gonna happen sometime because otherwise the police ain't gonna be doing their job. But let's get into like some of the incidents that's been happening lately, like with the George Floyd, obviously. Yeah. And what's some of the other ones?
Amara Rashad. Got shot in the back of Blake. Yeah.
Yeah. And what are y'all thoughts on that? Like in protests around the country, and the Black Lives Matter. What are y'all thoughts on all of that?
When it comes to Black Lives Matter, to be honest with you, like I'm for Black Lives and everything, but I'm not with the movement because we low key we didn't create it. We just you know what I'm saying? Cut you off. I don't like how they branded that shit. They branded Black Lives Matter, and now it's got a certain view to people. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we black and our lives matter. But they branded that shit, and that's kind of throwing it off to some people. You feel me? So I don't really like that they branding that shit. Y'all branding Black Lives.
Right.
That shit goofy.
Well, what do you think about like the protesting and the like damaging property and stuff? Like, what are your thoughts? Do you think that's what they need to do? You think they shouldn't do that?
How I feel about the damaging property. At first, I actually didn't even like it. Like, especially hearing about how they already trying to talk bad about the neighborhoods and the community and black people can't do this, black people can't have that. But as I did my research and as a lot of my like older peers was informing me on basically the reason that they damage property is to make people pay attention to the crime that's being held against us and the police brutality. So it's not like we just messing up grocery stores and neighborhoods for no reason. We saying basically, look, if y'all not gonna do right by us, then it makes no sense for us to sit up there and keep buying y'all stuff and putting money in y'all pockets, and y'all just gonna sweep it under the rug like everything else. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much why I, over time, grew to, not really care about that. You can replace that, but you can't replace us. You know what I'm saying? You can all of that stuff that got messed up is insured. Best believe that. And if it's not, then that's their problem. But us, we on comeback. You know what I'm saying? Now that's making us more poor. We trying to scrape up money on Facebook just to pay for people who, was basically, hurt by the police or whatever the case may be. So over time, I grew to just say, I don't really care about all of that.
Let me ask you a question though. What if you owned a business?
Yeah.
And they damage your business? And then, okay, let's say you got insurance, and then your insurance rate go up.
Right.
So would you feel the same way?
So personally, and it's hard for me to say currently without owning a business, but personally, I still feel like, because shout out one of the people that owns one of the popular stores in Chicago, Fat Tiger. He a black owner of a business, and his property itself was messed up. He posted it on IG saying, look, we can replace this right here. And that's where I gained respect from him. He said, look, we can replace this, but it's about the movement. It's about the bigger picture. I don't care that y'all took none of the stuff that's in the stores right now. It's because, he wants to shed light on the issues that we all trying to spread light on right now. Right. So I had to respect that, and I agree with it. Like, it's not about me. It's about everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because the same way I'd be tripping if they messed up my store, I'd be tripping more if a police killed someone that I love, right. Someone in my family. So that's how I feel about it personally.
Okay. You got any thoughts?
You know what I'm saying? With the destroying buildings and everything like that. I mean, I ain't encouraging, to do it, but I'm saying if we don't do it, destroy the ones that, that was racist towards you and everything. It ain't going to the store, they follow you and this and that. Because if we destroy all that, we can build our own. You know what I'm saying? Then now we can have our own the Black Wall Street again. Because they don't want us to, have our own and everything like that. So they hurry up and close down stores and this and that, try to make it seem like we so violent. To be honest with you, it's videos of police giving out rocks, stuff like this, giving out stone to break the windows because they want us to do it because then people go get more money. You know what I'm saying? Right. Now we can't shop at the stores. Now we can't eat this and that, and they got bread. They sitting at the crib and everything, eating and all that. You know what I'm saying? So destroy their stuff or whatever and build our own up. Move them out just like how they try to move us out. Yep. That's the way I see it.
Was it a lot? I know I've seen, because not too far from here, I've seen some of the businesses, like they had the boards.
Matter of fact, everything, bro. Yeah. Every neighborhood, bro. Yep. Like if you was here during the Chicago riots.
And then that's like, I've been to a lot of cities like recently, and almost every city's got some kind of riot damage in the areas.
There was a lot. I got videos, like, I'll post them, I'll send them to you. Like, when that shit was going on, I was riding around recording, like how you do. I was riding around recording that shit. I got so many videos, bro. It's ridiculous.
I know Atlanta, there's a lot of damage in Atlanta, because they had their own incident down there too. With two of them, I think. Cause the guy who ran, and then it was another one.
Somebody that was in the car, shit, they bust the window open on them and shit.
The one that happened at that Wendy's, they already tore that Wendy's down.
Oh yeah, Wendy's.
I went down there. I went down there to show the Wendy's, and it's gone. They done tore it down already.
Yeah, damn.
They tore the Wendy's down. And then you got the most recent one, what's that girl? Breonna Taylor.
Yep.
And I was trying to find, I didn't know all the details about.
I don't know that story.
You know what?
I can give you a gist of what the story is, but I don't want to kind of like get the wrong facts. So this is just me saying it. I don't want nobody to be like, he wrong.
Right.
But what I heard was the cops had a no-knock search warrant, which means they don't have to knock. They got a warrant where they can enter without letting anybody know.
Right.
The man in the house assumed that it was robbers, so he shot back. So he hit a couple cops, and they shot as well and killed Breonna Taylor. So that's, if I'm not mistaken, that is the story.
That's pretty much what I heard too. But another thing I just heard from somebody just yesterday, would add a whole nother twist to it, is the guy who they was supposedly looking for, who was her ex-boyfriend, who was supposedly a known drug dealer, was already in custody. Now, if that's the case, the police, the ones who executed the warrant, they wasn't necessarily in the wrong personally, but the department is still, because whoever the supervisors, their supervisors should have known that the person was already in custody.
No, I'll say this though.
You
with that, it's different though, because if you know the system, as far as processing goes, whenever they give a warrant out, they send groups out of police officers, right? So let's say it's a warrant for this crib, it's a warrant for that crib. One group might go out at 8 in the morning. The next group might go out at 10. Now they got you, but that other group don't know. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So they can get you and you still process
because the warrant hasn't been put in the system yet. Right. And then plus another thing, I don't know if it was even the same agency. It could have been like a federal agency. It could have been a local agency. I don't know. So if that's the case, then that really could happen. So if that's the case, like when people was mad because the officers didn't get charged, they're not gonna get a first-degree murder out of it because it got to be intent.
Right.
But you can get like negligent homicide, and the police department itself can be held responsible. But you're not gonna get it. Yeah, you're not gonna get it because it really ain't. You can't say the officer's murder because it got to be first degree. It got to be intent. That's not what they did.
Yeah.
So you never gonna get that.
It could never be negligent though.
Yeah, negligent homicide. You can get that against the department. You know.
See, but now I heard the neighbors was able to get a settlement because they got bullets inside of their wall. Right. So the same day that the police didn't get charged, they agreement with the law enforcement about having that's some bullets and everything in their wall.
It's just a fucked up situation, you know what I'm saying? And the girl Breonna Taylor, she was obviously innocent regardless of what happened.
Yeah, and that varies from state to state as far as that no-knock warrant. Some states have that and some states don't.
Right.
So that depends on what state you're in. I guess they was in Kentucky. I guess Kentucky had a no-knock warrant. At least that's what they said, you know, so, yeah. Well, let's talk about, first of all, what are y'all thoughts on the coronavirus and everything, you know?
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real. These masks.
Right. I guess Donald Trump knows it's real now too. So what are y'all thoughts on the president anyway, as far as that, you know, as far as him being contracting the coronavirus?
He was joking with it.
Yeah.
I'm just that's karma. That's karma.
I feel like that's a month away from election. I feel like he for the probably, him and his wife got the coronavirus or whatever, and they.
Hello.
Are you not coming outside?
Yeah. I mean, I don't wish no bad intent on nobody. So I wish him and his family the best. You know what I'm saying? But it is karma as far as how he did try to talk about the Chinese in that certain type of way, calling it the China virus, all of that extra stuff, and then. Lo and behold,
I didn't see the debate.
It is a month away from election, so we got to keep that in mind. Just keeping it, keeping it real.
But I don't know if that will make him that will work in his favor or not, though.
No, look, I'm gonna explain to you. I believe that he gonna try to do like him and his wife got the corona or whatever, and he got the tools and the medicine to cure it. You get what I'm saying? So if you elect me as president, I can bring that out to you.
Or you think?
Now, if he do happen to lose his life, you know what I'm saying? God forbid or whatever did, I'm gonna be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Right. Not Trump. But if he don't go and he somehow
Donald Trump is a blessing. Get well, Donald Trump. 2020, he brought us some blessings. I don't know if anybody else caught their blessings, but he gave me some blessings. But
some people say that he owed it out. You know, so wasn't a gift. You know,
they stopped us from working. They had to give us up.
No, I'm saying the people who blame him for the coronavirus anyway said that's what he had to do. You know, because it's people.
I'm gonna tell you something. I just blame media, period, for corona. Because you gotta think about in the beginning, they told us if you wear a mask, you look dumb as hell. What's the point of wearing masks? It's not airborne. A few months later, it comes out as airborne. Now everybody in a frenzy and in shambles and shit.
At first, it was skin contact.
You know what I'm saying?
You had to touch somebody in order to get.
So I think a lot of people took part in it.
Did anybody see the debate? Because they said he was mocking Biden because Biden had a mask.
I didn't even watch that shit.
I heard that they was acting like kids. That's all I heard.
I didn't watch that shit.
I seen a little bit.
I ain't watched the full thing.
Let me ask you a question.
I did watch it, but I ain't watched it.
I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask all y'all a question.
For sure.
Are you registered to vote? Are you voting?
Yeah, I'm registered.
You voting?
Yes, sir.
You vote? Y'all voting?
I ain't sure to be honest.
What's the point of voting?
Well, I mean, you know, it's each person's. Now, I was always taught to register to vote. I mean, you know, it's each person's. You know,
in 2016, I voted, right? Y'all voted. I don't know if y'all was old enough yet.
2016, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
You voted.
Yeah.
So, who was he running against in 2016? Was it Hillary?
Hillary Clinton.
Okay, so we voted for Hillary Clinton, right? She won a popular vote. What happened?
Well, the popular vote don't necessarily mean you win. You got to win certain states.
But that's what the media teach us. If I was to go ask a random person why they vote, they gonna think it's because of the popular vote, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, the United States has such a fucked up voting system. It makes no sense. Like, I don't care. Like, somebody, you can pull anything out your ass right now and try to logically explain to me the voting system. It's not.
Do you know how it worked though?
So I don't. Nobody knows how.
No, well, the way it works is certain states carry more weight. Like the main states, like California, Texas, New York, Illinois, Florida, Michigan.
Me, right? I think, matter of fact, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think in Illinois, a lot of people voted for Hillary Clinton.
But don't. So if you get that state, is that the?
See what it is? Each state is worth a certain amount of electoral votes. Depending on how big the state, like California, is worth a lot of votes. Right. You win California, that's a lot. Yeah. California, Texas, New York, Florida, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, then it's getting less and less. Exactly. You got to win those states. Yeah. Because overall throughout the country, you might have more votes, but you're not getting the delegates because you didn't win the important states, or even though you got more votes. Right. That's basically how it works.
I was looking at Lupe Fiasco. Yeah. He go live all the time and he just talk politics. And he was talking to a politician. I'm not sure of his name, but they were just having a discussion how they said people believe that the popular vote wins, and they believe that it has something to do with like swing states and electorals, and that is not the case. I'm telling you. The media's telling y'all this, bro. That shit do not matter, bro.
Well, what are you really voting for is you basically helping your state win to get the electoral votes.
I guess everything is opinionated because at the end of the day, we'll never know. I don't care who you are, you will never know.
That's the fact.
You know what I'm saying? Only thing I can say is if you gonna vote at state level, governors, mayors, officials, things like that. But at the end of the day, I don't care who you vote for. They gonna pick who the fuck they want to pick. And you can believe me or not, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I see it. Cause me in 2016, me and a bunch of people, we went out and we voted. A lot of people went out and voted, and it still didn't make a difference. So what's the point? At one point in your life, you gotta look in the mirror and just ask yourself, what is the point of all this shit?
I also feel like that's why a lot of black people got to get more into politics too. You feel me? Like, if we didn't end up making a difference, everybody else that's been there before us, they ain't never really trickled down to the black community. And the ones that did almost got killed. Or like Obama, the power was in, the House of Representatives, and that was Republican at the time that he was in office. So that didn't really do nothing, you know what I'm saying? So
Obama sucked too.
In a sense, as long as we really start doing what we got to do to get in those offices and make the difference for not only our people, but especially minorities, then that'll give us someone to vote for that could possibly make the difference and show the younger generation why we need to start voting and still vote. And because we had to fight to vote in the beginning, so you don't want to get to a point where it's like, well, what we voting for now?
Because see, it's still the same thing. If you don't vote, then your state won't get the electoral votes, and your state won't win. But I wish it was probably where you could just vote and the popular vote win. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot simpler, but that's the way they do it.
But I guess if you leave the vote in the people's hands, it's more. I guess they would see it during that time. I guess they would see that as goofy though. Like if you just leave.
Because basically what they're saying is, like for instance, California got like 30 million people. Then you take a state something like Delaware. Man. They got maybe maybe 1 million people, maybe? Right. I don't know. Right. Like, it just don't carry as much weight as California. So they give California a lot of electoral votes because it carry a lot of weight. Yeah. Yeah. So,
I don't know, man. In my opinion, like, politics, that you would kill yourself trying to, you know what I'm saying? That shit's just goofy to me. It's like Monopoly to me. It's a game. Like, if you really get down to the core of politics, this shit is a fucking game with these people. Just the fucking thoughts of, you gotta pick a fucking party, and you gotta vote for you leaving your hand and people. It's goofy to me. It's like gangbang.
You know what? Basically, people gotta
for self.
Right. It's up to you. If you don't want nothing, right?
No office help my family.
Right. If you don't want nothing, you ain't gonna do nothing. It don't matter who the president is.
Exactly.
It don't matter who the mayor is. It don't matter who the governor is. You ain't gonna do
I
nothing.
feel like you relate more with these dudes than like a lot of just Canadians out there that like say that they're so they're activists. Community. Shut up.
Candace something. What's her name?
Candace Owens.
Oh, Candace Owens. I no disrespect, bro, but I hate.
No, I'm gonna say this. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah,
bro.
I hate that bitch, bro.
She's
Like,
a
real talk,
she's a
bro.
cancer to black people. Fuck that.
Real talk. Like if she
Oh,
used to come and try to like politic us and be like, we need to, wake up, this and that, I'd probably smack the shit out of her. Like, check it out. She had a whole wedding, married to a white man, number of white people that, and all of that at her wedding, they got on Make America Great Again hat.
Look, end of the day, do for self. Don't depend on nobody. If you believe in politics, that's cool, but do for self.
Definitely do for self, you know. Look out for one another as a community, as a people.
Ain't no politician gonna take you job hunting. You gotta go yourself.
Check it out. It's your boy Jody, man. I ain't got no, big platform and none of that yet, but I'm up and coming. I'm under my brother. You feel me? So, you follow him, you're gonna always see me, man. I'm coming, man. Y'all see I'm coming.
For sure.
You still doing the music thing?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
So I got some dropping, man. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know me by now, cause I'm always on his channel, you feel me?
I talked to one of
I'm
these
doing
guys
my
on
thing, you
Instagram.
feel me?
They wanted to go on
I
the
got
show.
a project out called King Quan. I think it's just
Earlier,
like
it was
15,000
a
streams.
few
I got
months ago
King
when I
Los
saw
on that
this.
motherfucker, Fred the Godson. Yeah, rest in peace.
Because I just want to bring on like literally anyone in Chicago.
I got a song.
Kind of what I'm doing with this channel.
Motherfucker, Reed Dollars, you feel
Variety,
me? Shout out Big
anything
Bro.
goes.
That's the OG Philly, you feel me? I'm doing my thing though, you feel me? I ain't some small time.
I'm just tired of Lori
So,
Life of being the face of
just
the
follow
city.
me. I'm gonna drop my name.
Hey, if all y'all from Chicago, if y'all wasn't living in Chicago, where would y'all want to live at?
Chicago.
Right, Chicago, but shit, probably New York.
I say Long Beach. I went to Long Beach last year. That shit was dope as fuck.
Oh, okay. Y'all ever been to Detroit?
Yeah, my OG live in Detroit.
Shout out my nigga JT from Detroit. He doing this thing.
Yeah, Detroit. Shit, I fuck with Detroit.
Okay.
But I wouldn't move to Detroit though.
It's just like Chicago.
I'm not saying Chicago though.
Literally just like Chicago. They got the Coney Islands and shit out there.
They got Coney Islands out here?
No, I'm saying out in Detroit.
Oh, I said I ain't
It's
never
just a restaurant.
No, I'm saying, but do they got them out here? I know.
Like restaurants and shit like Coney Island? Yeah. But we just call them restaurants. Or like we call it by his name type shit.
Oh no, they like Coney Island is a separate chain of restaurants. They like. You know.
So look, I was on the west side of Detroit, and basically every time we went to the restaurant, they called that motherfucker the Coney Island.
Because probably everyone they went to was a Coney Island.
So I'm like, damn, shit, they got the Coney Island.
But there's a whole lot of them, but they a chain of restaurants in Detroit, like and they pretty much is in Detroit, the Detroit area. I don't see them that like you see a few of them here and there's a few of them in New York. That's why it actually started in New York.
Really?
Like from the Coney Island, I think, amusement. Okay. That's where it actually originally started, and then they just became big in Detroit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to this other video.
All right, so we're gonna sign off here unless y'all got anything else y'all want to put out here.
Feel me?
All right, there's one more video I want to show you guys, and it's not exactly Chicago, but I am kind of ending it on a depressing note. But since I'm originally from Northwest Indiana, which maybe someday I'll do a little deep dive about that, because it is different than the rest of Indiana, I swear to God. Doesn't mean it's great. There's still some, like Indiana's bad in some ways, but Northwest Indiana is different. Because people always think of Indiana and they think like, ooh, super right wing. You're not wrong. It had some pretty terrible KKK history, but it's where I'm from. Even though 14 years in Chicago, I consider myself a Chicagoan, but you can't forget where you came from. My point is that Northwest Indiana is a little different, but there's one area of Northwest Indiana that I think everybody knows about, and that's Gary, Indiana. And if you want to see again failures of government, Gary, Indiana is a place to look. People have left that city. I mean, I don't know why you would stay if you had the means to leave. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. And for the people that are stuck there, their government is utterly useless. And I mean that. And Indiana's typically a red state. Did go for Obama, which was, I remember that was insane just because it's Indiana. Typically goes Republican. And, we know here what I think of both political parties. But interestingly enough, they always say this is a right-wing talking point, but Gary in Lake County, Indiana, has been under Democratic control for a long time. And, people always want to say like, the Republicans are racist, blah, blah, blah. Sure. Okay. But tell me how Democrats are any different, at least in this sense. I don't mean literally all, so chill out, everybody. I know I make like disclaimers a lot, but I just want people here, like the audience, to get comfortable with just sometimes hearing things that you know, normally somebody would be like, oh, that's racist. Like, chill. I'm not coming, you know, from it, like from that perspective. It's just, we're just talking here. So let me find this video. I'm going to show you guys. It's wild to see what happens to a community that's just hollowed out. This, and it truly is a disaster. It's sad. And I hate to, and I'm not trying to exploit people that live here either. It's just literally showing you, because it's like these people, you know, these politicians, especially in Gary, like Indiana, I don't know where the rest, you know, the state government comes into play here. They don't give a shit. And the city government, but yeah, the state government is typically red, but Lake County always goes blue. So yeah, this is Gary, Indiana. It's about 30 minutes from Chicago. I used to drive through it every day when I would commute years ago for undergrad. Look at this shit. I mean, it's wild. So like when all the steel mills were shipped off, which that we can blame on, Nixon, Reagan, all of them. Fuck it, Jimmy Carter even. I mean, but it's more like just, and again, I'm not blaming the people that lived there. They've obviously been long, you know, gone. But just you would think that the city would like want to fix this. I don't know where the money's going. That's also another angle you see. I'm usually gonna I like to follow the money. That's the quickest way to the answer usually. So again, I know this isn't Chicago, but it's not far away. I mean, look at this. It's like a ghost town. No, I think this is the east side of Gary. So the west side's a little more populated. I mean, like, I don't want to say this is all of Gary. Gary's still a pretty big area, but the population's gone down immensely. But this is like, I believe, the east side where Freddie Gibbs is from. I don't know if any of you guys know who Freddie Gibbs is. I hope you do. I've followed him for a long time. Good shit. He's from Gary, and obviously Michael Jackson. But the east side is like right next to the toll road, which is one of the highways, the major highways that passes by. Like, you'll be driving on the left side, you'll see like the city center, like neighborhoods like this, and then on the right you see all the some steel mills that are still up, and then just all these abandoned factories. I mean, this dude, honestly, I would love this job, just driving around filming shit and talking to people. But like, it's just crazy. I mean, let's see. Fast forward a little bit. So like, imagine just paying taxes and living here and just like seeing how your city government like feels about you. Now, I mean, I don't know how it works if, you know, like you own a home and you leave it, or if you like, I don't know the circumstances either. But my point is, like, it can't be that good. I mean, the depressing time of the year too, Jesus. So I just, you know, this is my little dig at Democrats that just want to say that they care about people. It's like, you don't. And okay, of course, this can go also in like, you know, you can go the personal responsibility argument, but like, my general point here is that your government, you expect basic services from them, like upkeep of streets and roads and general safety. And it's as if like the government's just stopped here. I mean, I've driven through Gary many times, and again, it kind of looks like that video I showed you of the neighborhood Austin in Chicago, where it's like a lot of the businesses are either really old and they were never revived, or the business district is just empty. It was like thriving back in the day, and then all the jobs left, and you know the rest. I mean, Gary used to be like, it was like a metropolitan. It was built around the steel mills. That was like how the community was, like how it came to be. Shit. wild. This is, yeah, I think like right off of 94, or I'm sorry, I-90, the toll road. And look at that. Always. What does it say? Another politician. That's something you'll notice too around here. They really, I mean, I know everywhere they'll put up election signs, but like, and definitely they target specific communities. Just like crazy. Yeah, man. So, okay, wait, I lied. I want to show you guys one more video. Because I want to show you, we'll go back to Illinois to close this out. I'm going to show you guys one of the more affluent neighborhoods in Chicago so you can see the stark contrast. So refresh your memories to what Austin looked like. Now let's look at like Lincoln Park. I just want to see somebody like driving around. Okay, yeah. This is on the north side, Wrigleyville. So look how differently things are. This is my neck of the woods. Shout out to Chicago in 4K. I think that's the channel name. I'll post all the links in the description. All right, come on. Oh man, I love this. Is Sheffield. I honestly live very close to this area. So I usually split my time between here and then Ukrainian Village in Chicago, which I'll show you guys. That's actually, I prefer Ukrainian Village, but Wrigleyville's a cool little area. It's a good bar. And I mean, it's mixed here. You know, I don't want to say it's like, oh, it's literally all white people, but generally in Chicago, it's, you know, segregated by neighborhood. Let's see which way he's gonna go. So my general point, pretty much, let's see where he gets to. I mean, do like look at this stark difference. Just the condition of the buildings, the sidewalks, the streets. And again, this isn't saying, you know, it's like people versus people. This is just, again, the institutions that have failed people for so long and how money is allocated to resources in this city. Oh, okay, he's going south. Okay, so this is the neighborhood of Lakeview. This is right off the Brown Line, which is one of the trains in Chicago. Let's see, where does he go? Let's fast forward a bit. Okay, so now we're getting into River North, which is a pretty affluent community. It's right outside of the Loop in Chicago. It's right along the Chicago River. You know, paved streets. I mean, of course, we're getting into like the heart of the city. I want to see if there's like another video. Sorry, guys, I kind of have ADD, so. But it's cool to just look. It's weird because there's a store chain called Wrigleyville Sports, but we're not in Wrigleyville. Just a disclaimer. Where are we now? Where is this? Okay. This is Lincoln Park. So you guys get the gist of it. Let me see if I can find one more video, and then I promise we will be done. Let's see. How about driving through somebody actually? Okay. Maybe this will be a good one. 79th Street through South side of Chicago. Yeah, okay. You know what? Forget what I said. Let's look at this one more time. So this is, we'll look at these two and then we'll really be done. So this is, again, we're going to go back to the South side, which not all of the South side is like, you know, impoverished, but generally it is. There are pockets though, like Barack Obama's home. Shout out to Cam. Okay, so I believe we're on 79th Street. So remember what you just saw, like how different it is? It's like, could it get more blatantly obvious that the city's institutions, that's a cool theater, I'm sure it was cool. Anyway, the institutions are just failing the people of the city miserably, some more than others. I mean, it's like night and day. Like, why are the aldermen and the leaders of these communities, you know, why are they not given the same benefit that those in communities on the north side are given? It's like, you can understand why people attribute it only to race, but it's race, it's class, and it's history, and it's institutions. It's set up like this. Let me know what you guys think. I think this stuff's cool, so feel free to tune out whenever, but I love sharing other people's content too, you know, just to showcase what they do, because it's important. I don't think that, you know, there's some topics that I can talk about at length. Sometimes you just got to show people and, you know, highlight other people's work and how, you know, their eye is, and just highlight people's work and their experiences rather than always, you know, having a story on it. I don't, but I'm happy to share others, and you'll find that on this channel. That's kind of where I want to go. It's more just about like highlighting other people's work, other people, because shit, why not? So yeah, you guys get the gist of it. It's like, it's insane. Look at this. There's hardly any business activity going on. There's cameras everywhere. Surveillance, this shit's been going on forever. People are freaking out now about the surveillance tape. Like, it's been here for a long time. It's just used only on specific communities in different ways, I would say. Where, let's see. Some of it's just like older, and that's cool too, but it's like nothing against, like, this is kind of like old Chicago, you know. This isn't to say that this is like necessarily bad. It's more because like not everybody likes, you know, like what it's like on the north side where it's like super clean cookie cutter. Like some people like, you know, more gritty. I would say this is grittier. So I like a mix in between. But mostly I just want people to be able to like live peacefully, you know, not have to travel an hour just to get to work because their neighborhoods don't really have any business activity going on. That's all. Let's see. Racine and 79th, and it's pretty yeah, Auburn Park. Auburn Gresham was like used to be kind of affluent, and then it again, just everything that happened like this 60s, 70s, 80s kind of, you know, it took a downturn. So we'll close out on this because I can show you the comparison. Possibly, I just had it. Gold Coast and Wicker Park. The Gold Coast is also, it's downtown. It's called the Gold Coast because obviously it's extremely, extremely wealthy. It's right along the lakefront, Lake Michigan. which is, and this is Gold Coast. Gold Coast and Streeterville, if you go back a little bit, that's actually right next to Cabrini Green. So it's a very stark contrast because you still have a few of the remaining Cabrini Green housing projects that are up, and then the rest is like vacant land. But you can see that like the land itself is very valuable. So of course it makes sense that they're like, oh yeah, let's get rid of these projects. So this is the Gold Coast. This is Rush Street. Fucking cops. Carmine's, a very famous restaurant. Let's see. This is Division Street. Yeah, Division Street's fun. There's all kinds of fun bars and restaurants on it. This guy's not moving that much. Come on. Okay, so now we're, I believe, in Wicker Park. I bet you he's on Milwaukee. This is it's an old railroad track. It's called the 606. It's a walking trail now. It's pretty cool. So Wicker Park, this is an area, this is like a good example of gentrification, how people were kind of pushed out and developers came in and really, this is Milwaukee Avenue, really changed the demographics. Like they always say, it's like first like the hipsters move in, then like the yuppies move in. That's how you know a neighborhood's gentrifying. It's like first, yeah, like the artsy people, hipstery types, and then the yuppie, like urban. I'm generalizing, but it's only to help you guys have a better picture, like the typical like lib. But my favorite neighborhood, Ukrainian Village, is very close to Wicker Park. And the reason I love it is because they didn't completely gentrify it, meaning people who have lived here for a long time can still afford to live here. But there's businesses around, but it's got like the charm of old Chicago, the character of it. It's not become like overly like redone and redeveloped. All right, this guy's not really impressing me that much, to be honest with you. But yeah, this is Wicker Park, very famous area of Chicago, and it's cool. There's tons of art galleries, tons of cool bars, restaurants, record stores, antiques, all kinds of shit. But the property values and such gone up, especially with the more like corporate businesses coming in. All the mom and pop shops though that are still here, fucking cool. I would highly recommend visiting if you ever visit Chicago. Wicker Park is a good one. It's kind of like I said, it's kind of a yuppie-ish place, but also there's students. It's like a mix of everybody. Yeah, so this is one of my favorite. So that's why when they say like Chicago's like a city of neighborhoods, it really is. Fucking Taco Bell. A lot of drunks there, but yeah, it's a city of neighborhoods. The downtown's cool, it's beautiful, but there's so much more to the city. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys that, and thank you to all these other creators. I will post them in the description, so you guys can go follow and check their work out. Definitely check out Charlie Bow. We're gonna end out here. I could go on and on and on, but yeah, thanks guys for tuning in for another episode of Chicago Corner. It's fun just kind of exploring with you guys, and yeah, love you guys. We'll see you next time.